have you actively provided human sacrifices to SCP-2191? Yes.
So they provide sacrifices in order to prevent seismic activity. SCP-2191 is called Dracula Factory. It kind of struck me strangely because wasn't Dracula a famous vampire? Or a famous person that was said to be a vampire that lived a long time ago and practiced black magic? I don't know all of the lore around Dracula. Most of my experience with Dracula is actually playing a game called Castlevania, but it was always one specific person. And the vampires that I think about or envision are kind of the classic vampire, I guess you could say humans with fangs, you know what I mean? Humanoid looking with fangs. But the picture on the thumbnail is about like a demon type vampire, the kind that was like animalistic with ears. What I would imagine, and I don't know why I think of this, but Nosferatu. Maybe that was a game that I played or a movie that I saw that had this image that I associate with it. I'm not really sure. I don't like to dig too deep into these things because I actually like to find out about them within the videos and after the videos naturally. But today it's about the Dracula Factory, and it's from SCP Animated with probably our favorite characters. Make sure to head on over to their channel, guys, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And if you like reaction videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Let's get into the reaction. All right, it's like an agent running away from something in some ruins.
Come on, it's taking them so long.
Oh,
Agent Lawrence, do
Lawrence.
you copy?
I copy, Command.
Lawrence
Is
is
your
weather,
unit
man.
ready for evac?
Yeah,
Negative. So far, I'm the only one at the launch point.
these pictures, guys. That's what I think of when I thought of Nosferatu.
You guys need to get here now.
Uh-oh. There's a bunch of them. Creatures. Ugh. That a tentacle?
God, they sure are ugly, aren't they?
I'm more concerned with how deadly they are, Mr. Moore. Now go grab the kit. I'd like to take a blood sample.
Dr. Book.
Yes, ma'am.
It's twitching.
And here, run this through the scanner.
On it.
They had to have
This
seen
was an
it.
absolutely extraordinary find. The recon unit responsible did a remarkable job.
Kinda. The creature we're here studying had to be removed directly from one of the agent's stomach track.
Oh!
Not exactly the extraction they had planned.
It had to be removed from their stomach tract, meaning it got in them? Or the agent had to be removed from the stomach of the creature? I didn't get that quite yet.
I don't suppose he survived the ordeal?
Shockingly, he did.
Oh,
The medical team even says we should be able to debrief with him later today after he gets some rest.
oh, good.
Was he the only member of his squad to make it back?
No, there's also the guy that saved him. I think
Alright.
they said his name is Agent Lawrence.
Yeah.
Apparently, he fought off several instances of SCP-2191-1 in order to rescue his partner.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense. Agent Lawrence has a habit of saving people in the nick of time. Myself included.
Oh, I have to hear that story.
No, you don't.
No.
Oh,
Dr. Buck, man. Relax.
Dr. Buck, take a look at this.
Just as I suspected. There are traces of the same corrosive material in this lamprey's blood as there are outside the tunnels in Balkan Peninsula.
A lamp.
Ah, so I guess that means you
That's
defend the SCP-2191-3 theory then?
I don't defend anything. The evidence is right here in front of your eyes.
You really think there's an ancient malevolent force miles beneath the surface of the Earth, shifting tectonic plates and causing earthquakes?
I find your skepticism amusing, Mr. Moore. Out of all the anomalies you've encountered at the Foundation, this is the entity you refuse to accept as reality?
Look, do I believe there's an underground temple with vampiric monsters running around? Of course. And clearly they're intrinsically linked with SCP-2191-2A, 2B, and 2C.
Okay.
But do I think all of those beings are controlled by some old world god? No, I don't. At least not until we get some more evidence.
Okay.
Let me show you something.
Show us, Dr. Bug. interview.
Who is that? One of 2191's victims?
In a way, yes.
This is Dr. Collingwood, interviewing Draga Negrescu, village elder and midwife, 96 years of age, from just outside Hoya Forest. Right. She has proven knowledgeable with regards to the folklore and traditions associated with SCP-2191 and claims to be a descendant of the Solomonari. Ms. Negrescu, what can you tell me about the temple?
It is where the mother resides. Like a queen, she sends her faithful bees to collect nectar. Like good beekeepers, we help the hive flourish.
And who is the mother?
The mother was once a princess, the most beautiful daughter of the Blood Empress. The great Karcist, sorcerer king of Aditum, sought to conquer her as he did the domain of the Blood Empress. He claimed her as was his right, and she became his favored concubine. In time, she came to worship the great Karcist just as we do, who hold to the old ways.
The voice acting for this lady is so spot on. Wouldn't you agree? Like this old hokey lady that's talking to you about some crazy freaking legends in a spooky voice. She sounds like she can stir the cauldron pot, baby. She's perfect.
She begged to bear his children, and the great Karcist blessed her with his sacred seed. Oh, the mother swelled with joy and life. Here she was planted, and here she grew. And we, like the pale ones, must keep her fat and satisfied.
Let's be very clear for the record. Ms. Draga Negrescu, have you and other natives scattered across several isolated villages in the vicinity of Hoya Forest actively provided human sacrifices to SCP-2191 as a means of minimizing seismic activity?
Yes. And as you now know, it is best for all that we be allowed to continue our sacred duty.
So they provide sacrifices to this thing in order to prevent seismic activity. You know, hokey legends will come and go, but a lot of old school movies about, you know, these gods or these demons or these things that they needed to sacrifice was to prevent things like, you know, bad harvests or earthquakes or, you know, storms, bad weather, you name it, whatever the case may be. They thought by sacrificing people that it would stop these bad things from happening, you know? And this lady is like the perfect case of something like that. Their whole village is in on it, making sure this thing is fed so that there's no earthquakes. Wow. Look at him. He's
okay,
like,
sure. You got one testimonial, but that's anecdotal evidence at best.
Super
the
authentic,
ramblings
though.
of some old lady hardly qualify as definitive proof.
A man refusing to admit when he's wrong.
Oh.
How shocking.
Don't worry, man. It's hard for all of us guys.
Wow.
Lawrence, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Dr. Buck.
And what brings you down here
Lawrence
to the lab?
looks rough
Well,
nowadays.
clearly, he's here to rescue you again.
Mr. Moore, please.
Yeah, rescue Dr. Buck. She doesn't need my help. She's basically bulletproof. Now you, on the other hand, you got the desperate eyes of a damsel in distress.
No, I don't.
Anyways, Agent Lawrence, what can I do for you?
I'm here to discuss SCP-2191. I know you guys got permission to debrief with my squad mate later today, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Why's that?
Well, he's hopefully going to make a full recovery, but I want to let him rest as long as possible. And I think I'll be able to answer any of your questions.
All right.
While you were on location, did you or your team find any further evidence of a possible SCP-2191-3?
Absolutely. Its true size has proven difficult, if not entirely impossible to measure, but my unit found evidence of root-like appendages extending throughout an area of approximately 660,000 square kilometers. All of them excrete the same highly corrosive substance as the larvae. I have no doubt that SCP-21913 is sapient and exerts control over its minions via physical interaction and through the release of complex pheromones. SCP-21911 entities essentially act as feeder drones for SCP-21913.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't really think that thing causes earthquakes, do you?
Turkey, December 26, 1939. The Erzincan earthquake results in the deaths of approximately 33,000 people. Locals report a great serpent rising from the ground. Romania, November 10, 1940. An earthquake strikes Vrancea. Civilians report vampire attacks in wake of the disaster.
Wow.
Macedonia, March 4th, 1977. Several survivors report seeing the arm of an octopus rupture from the earth, and pale men attacking survivors in the night, dragging them beneath the surface. I could go on, but yeah, I do.
Okay, but if that's true, then how come we haven't seen any other incidents since 1977?
Well, my best guess is because since then, the O5 has let the locals make the appropriate human sacrifices in order to appease it.
Whoa, it's actually working. So, that measurement, that red circle with 660K, can you imagine something that big? If it would be a creature that big in the earth that had the ability to penetrate the earth and take victims with huge tentacles. First of all, it would definitely make some seismic activity. It would make a lot of activity, period. But seismic activity would be something. You ever heard of a sinkhole? If you could think about what happens in a sinkhole, it's not really seismic in the terms of vibrations and stuff, but there's so much land that can shift at one time. Just to think about that sort of movement in a scale as big as 660K, yeah, it would feel seismic for sure. The fact that this thing has feeder drones that it sends out, and that these villages, or this village, is the locals are keeping it fed so that it doesn't have to do this, is crazy, man.
Oh.
Thank you, Agent Lawrence. That was rather informative. But I'm still going to insist on speaking with your squad mate directly.
Okay.
Dr. Buck, please, let him recover some first.
Lawrence, I know you are acting in the best interest of your fellow agent, but I can assure you that our medical staff would not have approved our visit if he truly wasn't able to handle it physically.
Oh.
No, it's not that, all right? Just don't go, okay? He asked me to try and stop you from coming.
All right.
I'm confused. Why wouldn't he want to see us?
Yeah, what?
It's not you, Matt. It's Dr. Buck. My partner is pretty weak right now, and he didn't want you to see him in his current position.
Oh.
And why's that?
Apparently, he's got a bit of a crush on you.
Agent
Really?
Green?
What's his name?
Agent Green! Oh! Oh! I can't believe Agent Green. If for some reason this is one of the first videos that you ever watch from me reacting to SCP Animated Tales from the Foundation, I've been reacting to them for a little while now, and they have a lot of reoccurring characters. And as you can see, I started talking about some of the agents and stuff. Agent Green started kind of making some passes at Dr. Buck on the last video that we reacted to, which was about Mount Everest and the SCP associated with that. I can't remember the name right offhand. Before that, Agent Green was introduced to us for the first time in the 3D Specs video. He's a really, really cool character, and he made Dr. Buck smile a little bit from flirting with her on the last video about Everest or whatever. It sucks that he's hurt, but it makes my heart so happy. Because it's actually revealing that he has feelings for. Oh, that was so good, man. The story is very interesting, though. I'd like to find out a little bit more about the SCP, the tentacles and stuff, and the vampires. So the vampire creatures, or the dash 1, dash 2, dash 3, or whatever. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit more. It does look very, very interesting though. I hope you guys enjoyed this animation. SCP Animated, man, it's such good stories and good storytelling. Make sure to subscribe to him, as well as a couple other videos that I reacted to from him here, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Ludin signing off, and we'll see you next time.